My name is Cassy Summers. Welcome to the Curious Universe podcast. Hello, my wonderful friend. Thanks for jumping on here with me today. We're going to explore overwhelm. Yeah. We're going to explore when it's like everything is coming at you or everything is falling apart, you must know. And maybe you're not going through this right now. Maybe this is one that you bookmark and you keep for those times when you are. But either way, let's get curious. Let's explore this energy of total overwhelm. You could feel like you're being attacked. You might be being attacked. It could feel like everything's falling apart. There's like a lot of stuff around that, right? I once heard in a Access Conscious class, those that know the show know that that's my jam. I love the Access Consciousness. And Gary had asked someone, could an infinite being ever be overwhelmed? Now, what is an infinite being? Let me just brush on that for a minute in case you've never heard that term. It was super new to me. An infinite being is a being that's infinite. It's really what you, the being, are. So we have the beautiful body, and then we have the being that occupies the space between the body. The body's actually in the being because the being is so freaking huge. And it is truly infinite. Now, we're not told that. We're told that we have limitations. We're told that there's limits to what we can know and perceive and receive and all this stuff. And we're trying to push those limits. But what if none of that was true? Like, what if really, truly you were an infinite being? Because if the being is energy, and we know that energy is infinite, it's all around us, it's everywhere. Maybe we haven't learned how to harness all of it, but it's there, in one cell of the body. Like one cell of the body has enough energy that it could power a city for 3 months. That's what the scientists tell us. So energy is all around us. Are you an infinite being? And if you're an infinite being, can an infinite being ever be overwhelmed? Well, the answer is, of course, no. So how does that help you? Like, how does that actually translate into something that makes you feel better when you're overwhelmed? Well, one thing is to acknowledge, okay, where am I making myself finite? Where have I decided that I can't handle this, or I'm making myself smaller? I know for me personally, if things start to get stressful in my life, I contract my space of being. When I contract my space of being, one that's difficult on my body does not like that. And then I start to have sensations of like my body being overwhelmed. And then I've decided I'm overwhelmed. And the more overwhelmed I've decided I am, the more I contract my space of being. It's almost like you can imagine like hiding and protection, like a kid curled up into a ball as though that's going to keep them safe rather than expanding, expanding, expanding out. So you have so much energy. So you have so much more awareness and capacity, and then you would know where to go to be safe, right? So, would an infinite being be overwhelmed? If no, then why are you being overwhelmed? That question might drive you crazy, but if you keep repeating it, you might start to sense lightness. You might start to sense something shifting and changing for you. You might sense it right now. And anything that doesn't allow that and allow you to expand into the infinite being that you are, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and pod, all 100. Responsible as creation spaces and beyond. So I'm yawning not because I'm tired. So when I yawn and I'm doing energy work, to me, it's my body acknowledging that we're shifting unconsciousness. So how exciting is that? But if you've never heard those words that I just said before, that is called the access consciousness clearing statement. The clearing statement, I'm not going to describe it because it would take me 20 minutes, but you go to theclearingstatement.com for more information. And I actually just put out a brand new video, but it is this magical set of words that literally clears out energy. I don't even get how it works. You don't need to get how it works. I mean, I kind of get how it works now, but when I first learned it, I was like, I don't understand. What do you mean? I can say this and it's going to change something. And now I use it in my daily life all the time. And you can use it without having to understand it. But check out that video and you'll get a greater understanding of what's going on there. So, infinite being. Yeah. So, navigating the overwhelm. One is to kind of acknowledge that there's nothing that you can't handle. The universe will never actually send to you that which you can't handle. And if you're an infinite being, then you can handle infinitely everything, right? That acknowledgement, I'm not saying that that is going to change everything, but if you're willing to acknowledge it, then we can change the stuff. Okay. But some people are like, yeah, but, and they won't even do this part. But this is the first part. This is the first part. It's almost like I want to, you know, like you've never learned how to swim before and you're like, I want to swim and you're just jumping in the water. And it's like, hey, there's a few steps and you're missing the steps. This is the first step, is to acknowledge that an infinite being would not be overwhelmed. And if you're an infinite being, then you would not be overwhelmed. So why are you like, so everywhere you're making yourself a finite being, will you destroy and integrate that, please? All right, we're about to talk about all 100 short boys, poets, creation, spaces, yawns. If you don't acknowledge that this is an illusion, the overwhelm, then you can't change it. It's like, if like I like right here, a mirage or something showed up and I'm here like, oh my God, and I'm trying to change it, I'm putting all this energy into changing it, but it's not real, it's not going to change. Nothing's going to change. So you have to acknowledge overwhelm is not real for you. That doesn't mean it's not showing up. It's appearing real. Absolutely. Just like a mirage. It appears so real, right? So it's here and it's there and we can acknowledge it. And then we can do something to change it. It doesn't mean that you acknowledge it and then you're just stuck with this mirage in your face for the rest of your life, or you're just stuck with the overwhelm. But first you have to acknowledge that it's not real. Okay, cool. Thank you. Anything that doesn't allow that, will you destroy and create it, please? Right, wrong, goodbye, POC, all 100 short boys, poets, creations, bases, and meows. Okay, so then next, we've acknowledged, okay, this isn't real and it's here. So let's handle it. Let's navigate this. One of the first questions you want to explore and ask yourself is it mine? Is the overwhelm actually mine? Does it belong to me? And you can even ask, who does this belong to? So when you ask, is it mine? If it lightens up, like it becomes less intense, the overwhelm starts to kind of just lift a little bit. That's acknowledgement that it is not yours. Because the moment you start to acknowledge that it's not yours, it starts to go away. Crazy, huh? So if you ask, is it mine or someone else's, you can use the light and heavy tool. So anything that is true for you will always have a sense of lightness. Anything that is not true for you will always have a sense of heaviness, even if it's attached to something light. So I always ask more questions if I get heaviness. So you could ask, okay, is this overwhelm mine? Does it belong to me? Does it belong to someone else? You might get, wow, it's someone else, even though you might have very valid reasons for being overwhelmed, like financial reasons, physical reasons, pressures, stresses, expectations. Like you might be like, how would I not be overwhelmed if I have this situation showed up, the overwhelm showed up with it, they match, of course it's mine. So everything you did to make it yours when it wasn't yours, will you destroy and integrate that, please? Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, bod, all 100, shorts, boys, poets, creations, spaces, and beyonds. Okay. We are psychic receptors, right? And especially when you're going to handle a situation, let's say it could be a stressful situation. Okay, this just popped up. I didn't even have this in my life, but this popped up, so maybe it's yours. Going to visit in-laws. Like, I don't have in-laws, so I don't have that, but maybe you're going to go visit the in-laws and you are so overwhelmed. You're overwhelmed with preparing to go. You're overwhelmed with all the things that you're going to have to do there. You're overwhelmed with the organizing, the planning, the getting the work done before to make the space, to take the time, all the things, right? And you're like, oh my God, I'm just so overwhelmed right now. And it makes absolute sense because the energy of overwhelm showed up when you started to really prepare to go to see the in-laws. Just because something appears to make sense doesn't mean that it is what it seems to be. So if you ask, is the overall mine, and you get no, then now you can explore, all right, is it the in-laws? Does it belong to them? Are they overwhelmed with us coming down? Maybe. Or is your partner overwhelmed and you're picking it up? Maybe. And then the other thing that could be going on is something that we call, and I won't have enough time to really go into this, but it's your psychic abilities with the world. So what we do is when we're going to do a situation that is out of the ordinary, you will connect to like a psychic network, if you will. And this network goes out into all the people of the world that have had to deal with in-laws, anything similar to your situation. So maybe you don't get along with them, or maybe you do get along with them, or maybe there's a little bit of conflict, or maybe last time it wasn't so great, or all the things. So you'll go out and you will like connect to all those people. And you will start to psychically absorb what they went through, their thoughts, feelings, and emotions about it, the thoughts, feelings, and emotions of the in-laws, every movie you've ever seen that has this scenario, all and like, and that's more. And there's so much more than what I just said, okay? Can you start to see why you would get overwhelmed? So now you connect into that. And so when you connect, when you use your psychic abilities with the world and you actually connect to all those vibrations of all those people, you physically, your body and your being, to understand, to really tap in and get a sense of this, you will start to vibrate as them. And that vibrating as them, if that vibration that you're tapping into is overwhelmed, then guess what? You are now overwhelmed. Yay. Here's your brand new overwhelm. You just got awarded. And it is so intense that, of course, it feels like yours because you're vibrating like it. So therefore, it feels like, physically feels like, and energetically seems like yours. How do you get out of that? So if you ask this question, so first you acknowledge, okay, cool. Would an infinite being be overwhelmed? No. Next question, is this mine? You're playing through this whole thing with yourself, right? You're looking at these, you're getting curious about yourself and everything I just asked. Does it belong to the in-laws? Does it belong to your partner? Is it your psychic abilities with the world? If it's your psychic abilities with the world, you're going to want to kill those abilities. And again, I can't go too much into that. You do not lose capacities if you kill your psychic abilities with the world. You don't. You just don't. And I don't have time to go into it. So you can believe me or not, it's fine. You want to kill those abilities, and then you want to get a sense of your psychic abilities with the universe, those psychic capacities that are like those universe capacities, expand into that space, and then explore from there. If it is simply as, oh my God, this is my in-laws, they're so stressed. They want this to be perfect, or they are afraid I'm going to judge them, or whatever. Then if that were the case, then you simply use this tool and return to sender all that overwhelm. And I know you don't want to do that to people. Just get over it. It's theirs. They're having it anyways. You're just like pretending like you're doing them a service by sucking it out of their world where they just keep generating more. So you return to sender with consciousness attached, and that will make you feel better, right? There's some consciousness there. It's all good. So return to sender with consciousness attached, and you can use the clearing statement. Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD. All 100 shorts, boys, poets, creations, bases, and beyonds. So now, if you were in a space of overwhelm and you started to watch this, hopefully things are starting to shift a little bit and you're starting to get a little bit lighter. But we're going to go further. Don't worry. There's more. There's more. So we've kind of played this far. Go back to expanding for a minute. You know, I talked about I would contract when I felt stressed. And I'm asking you to expand your space of being as big as an infinite being would expand to, and relax. And just let all that we just facilitated, just let it go. Go wherever it needs to go. All the stuff that doesn't belong to you, let it go. Okay, cool. All right. Now, here's another thing that can be showing up with overwhelm is that if there are things that you don't want to be doing, they're either not fun for you, they're maybe like almost abusive for you to be doing, they're just unenjoyable. It could be any extreme, right? But we as humanoids have like this allowable amount. And when we get to the amount of not allowable, so anything beyond this, of doing stuff I don't want to do or a certain type of thing, overwhelm will show up. And that is almost a way actually for us to get out of doing what we don't want to be doing. Don't make yourself wrong if that's what's going on. So you got to get curious with yourself and like, okay, so how many things am I doing right now that I don't want to be doing? I used to have this habit of just saying, if anyone needed my help, I would just say yes because I felt like, well, that's being a good friend, or that's being a good partner, that's being a good mom, that's being a good whatever, like family person. So I was always saying yes to people, and it would be so intense for me because I would have my own universe of everything that I need to do. And then on top of that, I'm trying to help someone out, and I've decided I have to do it even though I really maybe really don't want to. It's not fun for me. But I'm taking on. It's so bizarre. It's almost like they could be doing it, but they ask me to do it because they don't want to do it, and then I say yes because I'm an idiot. And then I'm doing the thing that I don't want to do and it's not even for me. I used to do that all the time. So how many things are you handling right now that you don't want to be handling? And just get completely honest with yourself. It doesn't make you right or wrong. It just gives you awareness of, oh, wow, I actually am handling about 15 things. And it could be if you're feeling overwhelmed at work, it could be work related. If you're feeling overwhelmed at home, it could be home related. And it might not be. You might be at home and you're not doing anything you don't want to be doing, but you're doing so many things at work that it's just showing up here in your like space of Zen, right? Your place of like, I can unleash and let go here. Okay, blah. Now I'm overwhelmed. So look at that. How many things are you doing that you don't want to be doing? And just acknowledge them. And you can even make that list, like write it down. Like, I don't like washing dishes. I don't want to be doing that every night. And I don't like all these things. Okay. Write them down. Work, business, family, I don't know, whatever. Write it down. And then now we're going to engage with the universe and consciousness and actually ask for some support here. Hey, can you help um, me get these things handled with ease? What would it take for everything on this list to be handled with ease? Hmm. Now, it doesn't mean that you won't be doing any of them, but what can show up as if by magic is that some of them are going to handle themselves, meaning someone will pick them up. It'll be an issue that will just disappear. Like, for example, I was having this login issue, and every time I'd go to get the password reset, there was like an expiry, and I was just so frustrated because I could never get on the same time as this person that was sending me the token. So I just asked it to like, you just handle yourself. And then just this morning, I went in and I went to log in. I was just like, I'm going to try. And it now is working. I didn't need the token. I didn't need any of that stuff. It just took care of itself. I don't need to know how. I don't care. It works. That works for me. Same in my business. Can you handle yourself? And then someone who maybe doesn't usually like isn't a proactive player suddenly just takes it upon themselves to do something for me that I needed done. And I'm like, wow, I'm so grateful. Same with my home. Or sometimes it is me doing it, but I almost don't even remember. I'm like, oh, I don't even remember doing that. Like it just kind of just happened like magically. So let the universe support you. Let these things handle themselves. And you might need to hire people. You might need to hire a cleaner or get a dishwasher or all the things. Like, and if you were really committed to your life, which is in the last episode, then you would be willing to do whatever it took to make your life easier and greater, even if it meant someone cleaning your house once a week, right? Ah, here we are. We're navigating this. We're navigating this together. There is no one answer, and I hope that I am making that clear, is you have to explore this overwhelm and go through these different steps to see what is showing up for you. So back at who does it belong to, you might have been already done. You could have turned off this podcast and you're like, I got it. I don't even, there's no overwhelm in my world anymore. I am good. And you might have sensed a shift, but it's still here. So then we have to keep exploring. You have to keep asking questions and getting clearer and clearer and clearer until you can reach that space of total peace. And where you might still be aware of overwhelm, meaning it's around us all the time. You cannot actually cut off your awareness. You can do things that make it seem like you've cut off your awareness. You could do like massive amount of drugs. You can use eating, sex. You can use all sorts of things, drinking to kind of shut off your awareness. And it creates a dulling, but you don't actually stop being aware. You don't. So overwhelm is just next door. It's just down the street. It's at the grocery store. People are overwhelmed all the time because we are living in a world, we are in World War III. Okay. So we're constantly being bombarded with things to create stress and overwhelm. This is exactly what is occurring right now in the world. And I know that's a little bit out there, and you may or may not be okay with this conversation. We're not going to go far into it, so don't worry. You can leave it to the side if it's not late for you. But have you noticed how much of media, how much of what's coming out causes a sense of stress and anxiety and overwhelm rather than peace, possibility, and hope? So overwhelm is everywhere. You will be aware of it. And these tools do not shut off your awareness, but what it can change is rather than it feeling like it's in here, is that it's out here. And you're just going, oh, there's overwhelm. Like there's a tree right over there. There's a road right over there. And there's a house right there. Basketball hoop. Overwhelm, anxiety, stress, depression. Just because you're aware of something doesn't mean that it's your job to do anything about it. And unless someone's willing to have a change, you can't do anything about it. So just let that go. Okay? Not your job. Right now, you're just gonna be here with you. Expand, expand, expand. So we're navigating the overwhelm. Now, what else from here? So you've looked at all these things, right? We've kind of done these general things, and now you're going to have to get deeper. If you're still having a sense of overwhelm, and I'm hoping that it has at least shifted by now, but if it's still here, if it's still strong, then how deeper can you go? What questions do you need to ask so that you're not at the effect of the overwhelm? And now there's so many different places that I would be talking here forever if I went into all the different things. But one thing I would totally invite you to actually is I have a meditation, and it's called the Overwhelm Antidote. It's such a fun title. And you can listen to this when you sleep. You can listen to this when you just have like a little break. at lunch. You could be in your car with your eyes closed, headphones on. You could be anywhere and just really like listen to this and let it take you on a little journey to the space where overwhelm doesn't overwhelm you. What if you could really live from that space? That no matter what's going on, you can find peace. No matter what's going on, you can get a sense of you, that infinite being that does not require overwhelm, that can be totally aware of it, but not be at the effect of it and not be overcome by it ever. And what questions can you ask? So go deeper, dig, explore, play with this. Maybe listen to this podcast a couple times, or we'll put a link in the description if you do want to check out that Overwhelm Antidote meditation I created. There are a lot of tools out there. So for some people, get into nature. It will change your vibration. If you can get your vibration out of the overwhelm vibration, then you can breathe, and then you can ask questions and start to get clear on what is this? What do I do with it? Can I change it? And if so, how do I change it? Thank you so much for joining me on the Curious Universe podcast, where we break down the structures of reality so you can create your own reality. That's what I truly desire for everyone that's willing to have it. And hopefully that's you. I will see you in the next episode. Bye for now. Thank you for exploring the curious universe with me. Your curiosity matters. And what if together we could create a greater, more curious world?